So hi, this is Keith Cross with MMORPG.com, and I'm here talking to...
Hi, I'm Lee Hammock. I'm the lead game designer on Fallen Earth. And basically, this is the game Fallen Earth. It is a post-apocalyptic, massively multiplayer online game. It's got a first-person shooter-based combat interface, in that when I basically want to attack someone, I have to get them in this targeting reticle to actually hit them. But the damage I do is based on my actual skills, weapon, the target's armor, target skills. So it's a mixture of a first-person shooter-style game and basically a more classic RPG-style game. The setting for it is basically the Grand Canyon area after a mixture of nuclear, biological apocalypse has wiped out most of civilization.
Just a slew of calamities.
A slew of calamities, one after the other. So basically, it's a very desert-type environment. You can see it. Our world has a massive amount of space. I mean, you can see for forever.
And it's based in the Grand Canyon.
It is. This is the actual map of the entire game. This is an actual topographical map of the Grand Canyon. This map is 83 kilometers on each side, so you have about 7,000 square kilometers of space to run around in. All of that is real. It exists. You can go there. We've walled off some areas with radiation zones, plague zones, stuff like that, because we can't fill all that.
Right.
I mean, that's a huge amount of space. So basically, we have radiation zones that say, don't go here, because there's nothing there yet. You'll just be bored. So as the game expands, though, as we go along, we have plenty of room expansion. We just change where the radiation zones are, redraw the lines, boom, nuclear territory, tons of room for new content. So we have lots of room for expansion just in what we've already got. This town that I'm basically standing next to is a town called Oilville, which is one of the larger towns in the first sector of gameplay. It's run by a faction called the Techs, who are the guardians of what remains of technology in the world of Fallen Earth. And it's basically based around an old gas station, some oil pumps, that sort of stuff. And it shows you some of the more advanced structures in the first sector of gameplay. This is one of the larger towns. Not everything's quite this nice. Nice.
Right.
So, but it does give you some idea of what some of the nicer. Oh, and as a side note, you can play the game in third or first person. So, in this town, it gives you some idea of what some of the neater outfits look like. Like these guys have some pretty cool tech outfits on. And also just gives you an idea of some of the more interesting environments that characters can interact with. Our game is a classless system. It does have levels, but basically as you go through the game, you earn points that you can spend on any attribute you want to raise. Basically, you raise your stats and your skills however you want. You build whatever character you want. If you want to be rifle guy, you be rifle guy. You want to be pistol guy, pistol guy. You want to concentrate on trade skills. Those don't cost APs, but you can develop other skills that support trade skills. So it all depends on whatever you want to do. When you give people enough APs where they don't have to feel like, okay, I'm just rifle guy. That's all I do. I just put all my points in rifle. You give you enough points so you can max out rifle, max out first aid, max out stealth, be the crazy sneaky sniper who heals people, and still have some points left over. We want people to feel like they can all do several things well as opposed to being pigeonholed in one role.
Right.
We're trying to really break down the whole DPS, healer, tank trinity of MMO design.
Standard archetypes.
Exactly. One of our basic design paradigms is, in a realistic world, having one level boss fight a whole group of people does not make sense if he's a human. I mean, it doesn't make sense to have a guy you shoot 300 times and have him live. So instead of that, we go more with the idea of, okay, there'll be one guy who's maybe a little tougher, and then there'll be 10 minions. So everybody's tank, everybody's DPS. You've all got to jump in there. You can't have one guy jump in, get everyone to attack him, and go. It's a lot more of an active, everyone fulfilling multiple roles combat style.
Okay.
But basically, we try to make a system where people can just do whatever sorts of things they want to do within reason. We give people a lot of leeway, a lot of different skills, a lot of different paths to develop. In addition to more traditional skills like first aid, group tactics, melee, pistol, rifle, players can develop mutations.
I was about to ask you about that, actually.
Yeah. Players can develop mutations, which allow them to do various unusual things. Our mutations are much more X-Files than X-Men. We want subtle. No one flies. No one teleports. There's no full-body shape changing. We want things to be subtle. We're shooting for more of a Mad Max, Planet of the Apes, style of apocalypse. not a crazy superpower sort of game.
Do you have any examples of the mutations that will be in there?
We don't have any running right now, but to give you an idea, we have like an aggro management type thing that does allow you to get somebody to attack you or not attack you by altering basically making them mad or not mad. Using telepathy. Telepathy allows you to buff your charisma by making everyone like you. There's my favorite is nano manipulation. All the characters in the game are clones, and they basically when they die, there are collars on their necks that that basically scan them and send the information to a cloning facility where they are cloned in a nanite pod to make a new body and replicate their equipment. Okay. And basically, nano manipulation allows you to activate the nanites that are on your body but were no longer functional after you left the pod, using your own bioelectric field and get them to do stuff. You can use them to like reinforce your armor, repair things, heal yourself, all kinds of different aspects. But it's all sort of a sci-fi. Okay, I'm using these little machine sort of things that aren't exactly obvious because they're nanites. So that's really one of my favorites, just because the background on it is fairly interesting.
Okay, interesting.
But let's see.
It's kind of a cool way to get around the whole explain death and everything in the MMOs too. Isn't
Exactly. It? Well, we do. It is. You look around here and you say, "Wow, this is the most advanced town in this sector," and it doesn't look very advanced. I mean, it's pretty obvious they don't have a lot of electrical power. You don't see any street lights. Everybody's living in scrap metal houses. So you kind of have to wonder, okay, why is there a cloning machine out here? Where did this technology come from? And that's actually one of the main story elements in the game is how did this technology get here? How these people they don't have enough food. They're eating whatever crap they can find,
and yet they have
yet they have a cloning pod over there. What the hell? And so this becomes one of the major story elements of who's behind the cloning. Who are you a clone of? Why are you here? And what's really going on? Pretty much the first thing that happens when you start the tutorial is, you get to start finding out, wait a minute, why am I here? What am I doing here? Because we assume the player going into the game has no idea what's going on. We assume they have no idea mechanically in terms of rules. We assume they don't know what the stats mean. We assume they don't know what the skills mean. And we assume they haven't read any of the background. Because I know I never read the manual. I just jump into the game, play, figure it out as I go along.
We'll just assume they haven't watched this, yeah.
Exactly. Well, and basically we go into the tutorial and we assume that the character knows nothing about the world they're interacting with, so we kind of introduce everything as it goes along. Okay, you're a clone, these are the groups involved in the world, and kind of give it a step-by-step to introduce them to everything that's going on over time, as opposed to more of a, here's everything, deal with it. And we introduce new play elements as the game goes along. For example, PvP does not become a huge factor until the second sector, and then it becomes a huge part of gameplay. Like a third of the content at that point forward is all PvP oriented. So, it's the kind of thing where we want people to get used to the game, and then they can get used to killing each other. And in the third sector, they can start getting used to having horses and other types of, pets, that sort of stuff.
Right.
So every sector of gameplay you go through, you get a new play activity.
To learn something new.
Exactly.
Okay, because we're running low on time right now.
Yeah.
Do you have any parting words? Or is that...
No, I appreciate you guys coming out here, and I read your site very much, and, thanks for the attention, and, hopefully we'll be able to get the game out soon so everyone can enjoy it.
All right, great. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you.